The Milesians were worried about material causes, that is, matter is what's going to explain everything, all the phenomena in the universe. Pythagoras takes a different tack, is concerned about something else. And many of you know Pythagoras. Maybe he's famous, maybe he's infamous for you, or notorious, from the Pythagorean theorem. That is, that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Obviously, he had a reputation for being good in mathematics. But Pythagoras notices that numbers almost have a magical, and his followers certainly thought that they almost had a magical power. But numbers, and they viewed numbers and even geometrical figures as being the real things. If we're looking at what reality is, it's numbers and geometrical figures. And it's understandable that that's the case, because mathematical thinking holds the key to explaining many regularities that they observed in the universe. In fact, one of the regularities you notice is how various notes are struck to make up musical chords. And there's actually a mathematical relationship between those different chords. So those different notes to make a chord, as opposed to making just some noise that's not very pleasant. So if you think about it, if you think about modern science, he's really ahead of his time. Mathematical entities account for at least certain, or explain certain phenomena in the universe. So it seems that part of the explanation of what's going on in the universe can be found in numbers and in their existence, and they're the reality that gets things going. Similarly, you see, Pythagoras is not impressed with what he sees, the material out there. He also had a theory of the soul, and it's going to be a theory that's going to be heavily influential for Socrates and Plato and even Aristotle. And some of this he actually inherits from Homer and Hesiod, from the Greek mythology. But he has a view that the soul is the force that keeps you alive, and it's immortal. When you die, when the person dies, his soul goes on. And he had a view of the transmigration of the soul. That is, when you die, your soul then gets, and think of it as reincarnation, gets reincarnated sometimes in animals and sometimes in people. And in fact, his followers, it seems, were vegetarians specifically for this reason. That is, they didn't even want to eat animals, fearing that they would be eating a human being, or something that had the soul of a human being in it. So Pythagoras turns away from matter as being the only reality in the universe, and turns to mathematics, and turns to the soul, or the mind, or the psychology.